Hello everybody and welcome back to the new VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today's video is jam-packed with an insane amount of information. I have a completely different take on the version 28 Oculus Quest update. We have a Kickstarter campaign coming for a new Yaw motion simulation chair. There's some huge updates coming to VRchat, and this week's list of new games and updates is absolutely huge. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into this. First up are the new releases and upcoming titles. The asymmetrical puzzle platformer Carly and the Reaper Man is now available on the Oculus Quest. This is a two-person title where someone takes on the role of Carly, playing via PC, Quest, or even a Mac. The Reaper Man is controlled in VR, and you'll have to work together to escape the underworld. This is a truly unique title from one of my favorite studios, Resolution Games. Okay, so next up we have the free-to-play social card game, Cards and Tankards. Cards and Tankards is releasing on Steam this week on April 20th. It's an early access and free-to-play title which is also available on SideQuest. So go ahead and make some friends in the tavern and then battle it out card game style. Grow your deck over time, develop some new strategies, and ultimately kick some butt. If you've been looking for a card game in VR, well, here it is. Now, if you are looking to be a bit more productive in VR, the sculpting application Argil will also be available this week. VR brings sculpting 3D objects to the next level, and you now have the option to import models and modify them or create things from scratch, and then export them for things like 3D printing or to be used as game assets. Argil will be available this Wednesday, April 21st in early access on Steam. We also got a release date for another early access title, VR Skater. If you were looking for something like Tony Hawk Pro Skater in VR, well, your wait is almost over. On April 30th, you'll be able to kickflip your way into this game, which features a campaign mode, customizable skateboards, a hand-picked skateboard-themed soundtrack, multiple challenges, and an online competitive leaderboard. So soon you can go ahead and break some bones in-game and not have to worry about being injured in real life. If you're concerned you still might injure yourself in VR, our next title is the least imposing game you'll ever see. Puzzle Bobble is coming to the Oculus Quest on May 20th. Let me go ahead and date myself by telling you I used to play this game in the arcade. You've most likely seen some version of this game either on a web application or on your cell phone. All you need to do is shoot and match the gem colors in order to shatter them. Simple enough, but when we bring this game into VR, it's literally taking on a new dimension. I'm glad to see this classic title reborn in VR, but I'm currently looking for a lot more depth in my VR titles. Luckily, our next announcement trailer looks truly intriguing. Wanderer is a story-driven time travel adventure. Teleport yourself to the moon, become a rock star, experiment with Nikola Tesla, and even take down some Nazis. VR is the perfect medium for this type of storytelling. There's no official release date, but this game is coming to PlayStation VR, the Oculus Store, and Steam sometime later this year. Speaking of coming sometime later this year, we just found out that Resident Evil 4 is being remade for the Oculus Quest 2. Now this is good and bad news for some people. Resident Evil 4 is 15 plus years old, so the average Quest gamer hasn't experienced this title, and they'll have a full-fledged game to jump into. Quest 1 users, however, are going to be left behind. This is an Oculus Quest 2 exclusive. Some OG gamers, like myself, would also much rather see new games being made rather than jumping back into titles they originally played on the PlayStation 2. I'll admit I'm a bit jaded and completely immune to the Oculus hype, a topic we will get into a bit later, but I am expecting there will be something that impresses me next week during the Oculus Games Showcase. We know we're going to get some updates on games like Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, Jurassic World Aftermath, Lone Echo 2, and there'll be some information from Vertigo Games. I'll obviously report on this next week, and I'm hoping we hear something about the Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed VR projects. Okay, we just have some quick game updates before we move into those really big topics. First is something I forgot to include in last week's episode, and that's the new map for Gorilla Tag. It's an orange Arizona Canyon themed level, which allows you to do a lot more climbing. As of last week, the map was in beta and it doesn't appear that has changed yet. So in order to access this, you'll either need to go to your Steam game settings and opt into the beta, or go to the Oculus game page and change your version to the beta. Then you can go ahead and start monkeying around in this new level. Okay, so our next update is for the racing title Z-Race, and I am extremely excited about this one because I am in the game. That's right, you can now drive the Mateo311 car, and there's about 20 different audio tracks of me saying things in-game. There's also 2 other new cars which are almost as cool as mine. One belongs to my buddy Soulfox Gaming, and there's 2 new maps to check out. Now, I've spent a few hours in this game and I'm really enjoying it. It's really cool to see familiar names in-game and be racing side by side against your favorite YouTubers or prominent members of the VR community. Speaking of the VR community, the updates coming to VRchat are absolutely amazing. Now this is the type of story that actually deserves its own 10-minute video. I will rocket through the updates, but if you're looking for more information, I recommend the video by Fia where she breaks this down in detail, and I'll also link to another article from Reddit if you prefer to read information instead. Currently, the focus of the VRchat developers is to fix the audio bug that has been plaguing the game for quite some time, so they're going to resolve the audio cutouts. The other quirky issues, such as you not showing online or your friends not showing up, are also being addressed. Now the following updates I'm about to mention are rolling out in phases, so don't expect to see them right away, but they are pretty huge. The first one is a complete UI overhaul. This will make it easier to quickly access and find things you're looking for, and overall it's just a lot more user-friendly. Avatars will be getting a new feature called Physics Bones, which will not only greatly improve the performance of VRchat, it will also allow you to physically interact with one another. So you can lift a fellow avatar's tail or open up his mouth. And these physical interactions are also extending into the world itself. You won't have to grab an object to interact with it, you could simply walk over to something and knock it over. This is an absolutely huge change. We're also getting persistent worlds, which opens up the possibility for much deeper gameplay experiences. Things like progression, character stats, level experience will all be tracked to a specific world. This allows for the creation of RPG experiences, something I'm truly looking forward to. And the final update is also huge, but a bit controversial. Content creators will be able to sell items in-game. This streamlines the selling process of in-game content, and also opens up new avenues for things like paid events, which I could see being a concern because we don't want everything behind a paywall. There's also the fear of content ripping, where people try to sell assets that they stole from somebody else. There's definitely some pros and cons here, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how it plays out. Now again, I blasted through this information extremely fast, and do recommend you go check out Fia's video or the linked Reddit article if you're looking for more information. While we're discussing in-game paid content, we have to mention the fact that Oculus has just started a subscription service. FitXR, Rec Room Plus, vSpatial, TribeXR, Trip, and VZFit have all jumped in on this. There's 3 different subscription modes that developers can implement. The first is a free application with a paid subscription to access all available content. The second is a freemium model, where the game itself is free, but you can purchase additional in-game content via a subscription. And the final model is a paid application, which also has additional content locked behind a paid subscription. I'm really hoping this does not become commonplace. I understand developers need to make money, and I completely support this where there is a back-end upkeep, or when it's used in the freemium model, but I would really hate to see the majority of games locking content behind the paywall. Just know that Oculus is testing the waters here, and if they see the potential for a new revenue stream, they're definitely going to pursue this. So make sure to go ahead and vote with your wallet here, guys. So if this topic has riled you up, it's the perfect time for me to jump into my take on the version 28 update. Prepare yourself, guys, because I am about to rant like never before. The Oculus Quest version 28 upgrade is the most ridiculously overhyped thing I've ever seen. All Quest coverage in general these days is being completely overhyped. Let's just break down these major updates and go over why they don't really impact the majority of users. First up is that unbelievable 120Hz upgrade. At the moment of making this video, there are 2 titles that support 120Hz. The majority of Quest games struggle to run at 90Hz. So only the titles with the most simplistic graphics are really going to run fluidly at 120Hz. At the same time, your battery level is going to take a hit, and the headset will most likely produce some extra heat. But Matt, what about PC VR gaming? 120Hz is going to be amazing for PC VR. Your Oculus Quest 2 doesn't work like a typical PC VR headset. The link cable over USB already has some bandwidth constraints. And putting the fact aside that PC VR performance has recently gone to hell in version 27, how are we expecting things to suddenly get better when we add an extra 30 frames per second? But what about the AirLink, Matt? Surely that's a great update. Yeah, it is a great update, I can't deny that. But this is an absolutely huge FU to the developer of Virtual Desktop. They blocked the full functionality of this application for an extended period of time. Most people who are interested went to SideQuest and got the application anyway, but then suddenly Oculus allowed this application and all the holdouts who didn't have it because they didn't want to mess around with side quests ran out and bought a copy. But Facebook is now replacing it with their own free version. What do you think that's going to do to Virtual Desktop? At the same time, it's a slap to the face to all the consumers who recently purchased this application. On that note though guys, do not refund Virtual Desktop. The developer has gone through hell and deserves every dollar he has made for this product. So just to recap the air link, Facebook did something anti-consumer, anti-developer, and at the same time, this isn't a new amazing feature. It already exists, and most people already paid for it. And don't get me started on the Infinite Office update. This is extremely niche, and while it's cool and some people may use it, and it will help Facebook develop for the future and AR products, for the majority of people, it's a feature they'll never use. So on that note, you could say, well Matt, all of these incremental updates are cool and they're the future of VR. Why are you knocking them? Well, they came at the expense of my product's stability. In the past, when Facebook blocked Virtual Desktop streaming capabilities, they used the excuse that they don't want to include experimental features that may ruin a user's overall experience. Well, guess what guys? That's exactly what you did to me. You're forcing these new features down my throat that I am not looking for, and at the same time, the performance on my Oculus Quest 2 has gone to absolute hell. Version 26 and version 27 have officially broken my Quest 2. The Quest is not just some gaming device for me. For me, it's a tool to create content. I really wanted to cover the vHaptics integration for In-Death Unchained, but the game is currently unplayable for me. It's lagging excessively to the point that I cannot capture any usable footage. I've asked around and some of the issues I'm getting are a fairly common occurrence. So just remember, Oculus forced some new experimental updates on us, there's no option to opt out, and they've essentially ruined my product. So excuse me if I don't give a crap about 120Hz, which is barely implemented into any games, the ability to use a keyboard, or the new amazing streaming feature which I already had access to. I'm just ridiculously sick of the hype guys and want a headset that works. I'm most likely gonna have to factory reset mine if version 28 doesn't fix all of these issues. I've officially raised my blood pressure to an unhealthy degree discussing this topic, so I think now's the perfect time to go over Basti's video where he shows you how to stick it to Facebook and disable some of their telemetry data tracking. If you're not familiar with Basti, he's our resident Quest guru. He's always finding some hidden upcoming features, and this time he has a method to disable some of Facebook's telemetry tracking. I'm not going to go into detail, I'm just going to link you to the video, you can check it out for yourself. So if you're a bit jaded about Facebook, maybe you'll want to implement this. Okay, our final story is a quick one. A Kickstarter campaign for a new Yaw VR 2 motion simulation chair is coming in the near future. I have the older version and I will say it's quite impressive, but this new one is looking really cool. I'm definitely looking forward to cover more information on this when available, and if this is the type of project you want to get behind, I will include some links in the description. Okay everybody, that was today's new VR news. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and as always, I'll see you guys on next time.